What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Welcome to your stimulus check update, stimulus package and infrastructure update and daily news report for Wednesday, July 28th. So we are officially 3 days away from the federal CDC eviction moratorium expiration date. I think we're now 40 days away from the unemployment benefits on the federal level expiring. Okay, we're past due on payments that should be going to the American people. But what we're going to discuss in today's video, first, we're going to talk about cash payments, how more lawmakers are talking about cash payments as opposed to stimulus checks. We're also going to dive into a potential bill that we could see very soon that's actually calling for pretty much saving the American currency instead of going 100% towards electronic currencies and other things like that. I want to address that. We're going to talk about the infrastructure package, how it's currently in limbo. However, there is some that are suggesting that this bill could pass any day now. So this is all really good news. We also have an announcement from President Biden as well regarding mask mandates and vaccination. So we're going to get to all that in today's video. First off, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. If you could and you enjoy these daily uploads, go ahead, hit that like button. Also consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. Now, let's get into the cash payments. First, Representatives Pramila Jayapal, Ilhan Omar, and AOC are all pushing for cash payments. I've been saying this for a little while, probably for a few months now, that what has been said and the reports are lawmakers are planning on including some additional form of stimulus. However, the reports for the past few months have been very simple. The stimulus checks might not happen, but the payments will. And what I mean by this is we may not see a stimulus check in the sense of, we got the $1,200, $600, and $1,400 payments. Now, yes, it's still possible, but what we are hearing, all the reports expect that we're going to see a stimulus check, but it's kind of going to be hidden behind like a wall. For instance, like a child tax credit payment. That is a form of stimulus. That is something, somewhat like a stimulus check. We could potentially see an earned income tax credit. We could potentially see more cash payments. But the talk surrounding stimulus, it doesn't have that kind of relief and that prestige that it once had, because we've already passed 3 different stimulus checks. So lawmakers are now pushing for cash payments. Something a little bit different, just a different name. However, it would do the exact same thing. So they are saying right now, with more than 50% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck, when we are going to be cutting off their unemployment benefits in 40 days, when we will not be extending the eviction moratorium in just 3 days, and by not sending monthly stimulus checks that many people requested back in 2020, they're saying the people need more money. So, like I've said before, I do expect we will see some form of additional relief and assistance. However, will it be called a stimulus check? Will it be called a cash payment? Will it be called a tax credit? Right now, we don't know. We just don't know. But what I can tell you is something will happen, and it's probably going to happen in September. So that's at least according to the reports that we have so far. But let's get into the infrastructure talks. And I want to get into the infrastructure talks because of one thing. If we don't see a bipartisan infrastructure bill, Senator Joe Manchin said yesterday that if the bipartisan bill falls apart, the entire deal falls apart, which means the budget reconciliation bill will not pass. If the budget reconciliation bill doesn't pass, there will be no cash payments, no stimulus checks, no extension of the child tax credit payments, no expansion of Medicare, no free community college, no child care, elder care, so on and so forth. Everything just kind of blows up. Well, last night we heard that the infrastructure talks were not going so well. We knew this yesterday, we knew this even the day before, but President Biden now has negotiators, GOP Rob Portman and Steve Ricchetti. They're actually talking out this deal. instead of giving the option to have 20 plus senators in a room negotiating a deal where every single one has a different idea, a different agenda. What they are trying to do now is President Biden wants these two negotiators to sit down, negotiate the final stages of this package. Some experts say that these two have the best chance of getting this deal done. However, the problem still remains the same. Right now, nobody can agree on the funding, broadband, public transit, and a few more other line items in this bill. So until these things are actually addressed, until these issues are resolved, the infrastructure bill, as we know it, remains in limbo. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, he says he wants this bill passed as quickly as possible, that there needs to be a vote. Remember, the vote on this bill was supposed to happen on Monday. Well, it's Wednesday. We still don't have a vote. We still don't have the legislative text, and the legislative text was supposed to be ready last week. Well, that's creating more and more issues, and this is one of the reasons why everyone keeps saying the deadline has passed, because the deadline was supposed to be Monday. We missed it again. So, this is why Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is really pushing for this. He says a vote has to happen. We need to get it done. We need to move on to the next steps. And the next steps, and the GOP knows this, is going to be that $3.5 trillion infrastructure package. And some say that this has a very high possibility of passing. It's even more likely than this bipartisan bill. The problem there is the only way that passes if this bipartisan bill passes first. So again, we will see what happens, and as I know more, I promise I will share more. Here's something that I was reading just the other day, or actually just this morning. Representative Donald Payne Jr. He's actually going to introduce a bill to protect the American currency. Now, this bill will be called the Payment Choice Act. So simply allowing you to have the choice of payment. Well, the sole purpose behind this is to make it illegal for retail businesses to reject cash payments, because this is something that we actually saw during the pandemic. Now, I actually saw this firsthand. I actually went into a store. I needed to buy a few things. I didn't have any cards on me. Okay, and so all I had was a 20. They wouldn't accept it. They would not take a cash payment because it could potentially, transmit a disease, right? Well, if you kind of speed up a little bit to now, and we see this all the time, is you go to, let's say, a fast food restaurant, let's say McDonald's, right? Everybody goes to McDonald's. Go to McDonald's and you hand them your card, right? Go and hand them your debit card. Give them a card, right? Let's see if I have a card. There's a card. So you go and you give them your card, right? Make sure I cover up the numbers. You go and give them your card. Well, they take your card, or you put it in the machine, right? Some of them won't even handle it. You stick it in the machine, and then they go and give you a receipt, right? And so here's the problem. And this is the problem I have, and this kind of goes back to COVID, not really this Payment Choice Act. But they won't accept cash because they don't want you to transmit a disease, right? Transmit this virus. But then they go and hand you a receipt, which is pretty much paper, right? They go and give you paper that maybe they are giving it to you now. There's an issue. I have an issue with that. I never take a receipt, ever. Whenever I go somewhere, I'll put my card in the machine, pull it out. All right, I'm gone. I do not take the receipt. Okay? So, Representative Payne says there are too many stores and businesses that want to reject American cash in favor of digital payments. But cash is the only option available for millions of Americans to pay for food, housing, and the essentials. Currently, there's about 55 million Americans that do not have a bank account or a credit card. That's an issue. So, those 55 million Americans would not be able to make a purchase with anything because all they have is cash. And if that business doesn't take cash, well, they're out of luck. Well, Representative Payne even states that during a natural disaster, the electric grid, right, electric payments, these things could go down, and without cash and accepting cash payments, nobody would be able to purchase anything. And during a natural disaster, when people's lives are on the line, they need the essentials, they need certain things. they should have the ability to go and buy something and use the American currency, the US dollar. So we will see what happens there. My guess is there's going to be some bipartisan support on that. I do think there's a decent amount of people that are trying to transition away from cash, because yes, it's, a lot of people will lose cash. Some people say it's safer to have a card that, requires a signature or a PIN, and things like that. But others argue against it, saying no, it's better to have cash as well. I carry a little bit of cash, I think, usually on me. See what I got. Got a 10. I got 14 bucks. 14 bucks. That's what I keep in my wallet. I don't keep a lot of cash. I honestly don't. The last time I ever paid for cash was during the pandemic, and that was when the last time I ever had a 20, I think. But usually that's it. A lot of people now do not pay with cash. The majority of my payments to this day have been on a card. Every single day I'll pay for things with a card, whether it's an automatic payment for a bill that I have at my house, office, whatever, right? Or I just use cash. Usually when I use cash, it's because I'm going to a yard sale. That's it. That's the only time I think I really ever use cash. It's just at a yard sale. So we will see what happens here. My guess is there's going to be more support on this to make it illegal for businesses to only accept electronic payments, but we will see. But again, as I know more, I promise I will share more. Another big thing today is we're also hearing that President Biden is going to announce sometime tomorrow that all federal employees and contractors will need to get vaccinated, or they must submit to regular COVID tests in order to prevent the spread of this virus and to prove that they are not a carrier. Now, this is according to CNN. So President Biden is supposed to come out with this tomorrow. We will see if he does. We also know that according to the House of Representatives, they will now be requiring every representative on the floor of the House to wear a mask. It doesn't matter if you are vaccinated or you have not received your vaccine yet. You will be required to wear a well-fitted mask. And they also say that this is something that won't be taken up in the Senate side just yet. So, one thing I can tell you is that the mask mandates are starting to come back. This is not great news. And the reason why I want to tell you this is not great news, now I honestly don't care if I have to wear a mask or not, and that's just my personal preference. Okay, sometimes I would rather wear a mask, especially when it was really cold outside, and here in Washington State it can get kind of cold. But when it's cold outside, I almost prefer to wear a mask because it actually keeps my face warm. Okay, it makes it easier to breathe. So I'd prefer it in the wintertime. But that's just my personal preference. In the summertime, I don't want to wear a mask because it's much harder to breathe. But one thing I can tell you is as the mask mandates come back, as COVID cases increase, as our unemployment benefits come closer and closer to expiring on September 6th, the eviction moratorium expires in 3 days, right? Some people are having a difficult time getting a job, finding a well-paying job to pretty much substitute for the unemployment benefits. And this is the other issue, is that when all these things start coming up and COVID cases are increasing, we're coming into the colder winter months again, where people start coming indoors, COVID cases are gonna skyrocket. This is according to multiple experts. Even the former CDC director is stating that over the next 6 weeks, we could, and that again, 6 weeks, that's gonna put us into right about the middle of September, we could potentially see one day or multiple days where we are over 200,000 COVID cases per day. This is not great news. But as cases increase, chances are businesses, restaurants, maybe hotels, retail stores, they will all start to not shut down, but they're all going to start to monitor their employees as well as their customers. One of the things that's going to happen is we will potentially see capacity limits again. Okay? So if we see capacity limits, just expect this isn't just going to happen in retail stores, it's going to happen across the board. Manufacturing could be one as well. And this is where many people are saying that the supply chain is going to be disrupted. So if there's anything you need, now would be the time to get it before any of these issues arise. So If you have any questions on anything, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. I will be back on probably this afternoon. My guess is I'm due probably 3 videos today. I'll probably do 3 videos today. There's a bunch of stuff I want to cover and get through. I didn't do 3 videos the past couple days. Just been trying to get some other things done. So again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing so that I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.